Clements to whip up to the top of the starting hill. He's on his way up the hill now. He will start the first race of the day between Nicole Bailey, Kay Morton and Shelley Prince. It's the girls' 12 to 13 year race. We've got Councillor Clements on video now, so this will go back to Council. Right, now away and racing in the first event of the day. We've got a good start being made by Nicole Bailey on the inside. Kay Morton and Shelley Prince are in there also. It's Nicole Bailey over the jump into the first corner, followed by Shelley Prince on their approach to the new tabletop. Up to the tabletop, and it's all Nicole Bailey down into Bayside Berm. Still Nicole Bailey. Shelley Prince making a move underneath Nicole Bailey. Can't quite pull it up over Crowell's Mountain down on their approach to the Lunar Lumps. So they come down over the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Nicole Bailey out in front, Shelley Prince in the second spot. Kay Morton's dropped off a little bit in third place. Down into the dip jump now, it's all Nicole Bailey, Shelley Prince making a bid down the outside. It's going to be a sprint to the finish line between these two riders. I think Nicole Bailey will prove strong enough. Shelley Prince in for the second and Kay Morton for the third.
Can you hold it for a minute, because we're in Pro Cruise and they're up at the gate there and didn't know it wrap so soon. Just hang on for a second.
You won't miss out. Right, all the riders are up there getting ready. All the blinkers are being put on. Heads to be held straight in the starter's hands. Right, now off and racing in race number 2. I can see a good start's been made by Aaron Spiteri now, and we've got number 108 who will be Adam Bailey. Adam Bailey slipped the pedal. It's got Dean Mitchell in there, or Aaron Spiteri still in front. We've got Bailey, Mitchell went a bit high on the berm. As they come up across the tabletop, it's still Spiteri out in front, Bailey in second spot and Mitchell in third. Tailed in by the other young fella coming in there for fourth place. Up over the top of Crowell's Mountain, we've still got Spiteri out in front. Bailey's putting the proof down the back straight now as we come in Lunar Lumps. Bailey's taking the lead. We've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell. Around now and down through the bottom corner there, down into the dip jump. It's going to be Bailey out in front. Spiteri's putting in some big ones now to try and come up on the inside of Bailey. As they come down, it's going to be a sprint to the finish line. We've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell at this stage. So it's going to be Bailey across the line, Spiteri second, Mitchell in for the third, followed by 963 who will be... Right, they're away and racing. Got a good start being made by Gibson. I can see Maloney in there, Flaherty also. So we've got 715 out in front, which is going to be Craig Gibson out there in front of... Craig Maloney now is up in the second spot, so we've got Gibson in front of Maloney at this stage. Down in the Bayside Berm, it's still Gibson, Maloney up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. We've got Gibson out in front. It's good lead down in front there. Craig Maloney's trying to put in the pressure down over the Lunar Lumps. Now we've got Gibson in front. Maloney's pulled up to Gibson a little bit at this stage. Down in the dip jump, Gibson's having a spell as he comes down the dip jump. We've got Gibson in front. Maloney, Flaherty's coming down the outside of the straight. Down to the finish line, it's going to be Gibson, Maloney and Flaherty in that order. This, to me, looks as though it might be the 7 class, is it? Right, the 7 class. We've got 1147 Ubi Tony Harvey out in front, followed by Troy Dixon. So we've got Harvey and Dixon in first and second spots at this stage. I can see young Mitten in there, I can see a Kroll in there. So we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in second place, Kroll and Mitten. So as they come round Bayside Corner now down into the... across the top of Crowell's Mountain down to the Lunar Lumps, it's still Harvey out in front. Dixon's putting in some pressure around the back straight now as we come down. So around the sweeper, it's going to be Harvey out in front. Dixon trying to make a move up on the inside. We've got Harvey out in front still. Dixon on the inside. Harvey and Dixon down to the finish line. It's going to be Harvey's going to come in and take the win off Troy Dixon, followed in by young Kroll, and it'll be Brendan Mitten in for the fourth place. The field. As a chat to the people behind him. Right, I think we're almost ready. Right, 8 class in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops, and they're away and racing. Got a good start being made by Aaron Salisbury there. I can see Jed Pinkney in their side. Pinkney and Salisbury to the first corner. 567 will be young Anthony Muddlenich. So we've got Salisbury out in front, Pinkney in second place, Muddlenich in the third. So we've got Salisbury, Pinkney and Muddlenich as they come around the bottom Bayside corner up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. It's Salisbury. Pinkney's catching up a little bit down the back straight down their approach to the Lunar Lumps. It's still Salisbury out in front, Pinkney in second spot, Muddlenich in the third. Around the sweeper down the dip jump, it's still Salisbury at this stage. Oh, he's going to have a rest. So we've got Salisbury out in front, Pinkney's coming down behind him now to catch up a little bit, and then we've got Muddlenich into third place. Across to the finish line, it's going to be Salisbury, Pinkney and Muddlenich. Hands. Starting gate drops to away and racing there as they come down the thing. I can see Bailey and Nelson out in front a little bit. They got broke away from the field a little bit there. We've got Nelson, Bailey in the first corner. So we've got Nelson in the first corner. Bailey's coming up underneath him now as they come up to the approach to the tabletop. I can see Crowley there with Daglish. So around Bayside Burn, we've got Nelson, Bailey right on his back wheel at this stage. Up over the top of Crowell's Mountain, we've got Nelson. Bailey's putting in the big ones now. He's going to pull up beside him across the Luna lumps. So we've got Nelson and Bailey around through the bottom corner now. He'll come out in front as they come down through the dip jump. Nelson's still got a slight lead over Bailey. Not much in this race as they come down through the dip jump and across the two doubles. It's going to be a sprint to the finish line. I mean, Nelson will just prove that a little bit strong enough. He'll take it out first. Bailey second. Colin for the third place. Hennessy and Glenn Rawson as they come down. I can see Chris Rawson and they're all in there. There's one. Chris got the lead. Rawson's in the second spot. So we've got Chris up across to the tabletop. We've got Chris out in front. Rawson in second spot. As they come down, I think it's Hennessy back there in third. So we've got Chris out in front. Rawson in second spot. Hennessy in third. And then Pat Dillon. So as they come down now across the Luna lumps, first time I've seen anyone go over like that. So we've got Chris out in front down into our dip jump now. So we've got Chris from Queensland out in front there, followed by Glenn Rawson. So it's going to be Chris take out the first place. Glenn Rawson in for the second. Hennessy for the third. Pat Dillon and Jason Richards, I think. James and Jamie Hales. They come down now. We've got Hales out in front. Ross in the second spot. Ross underneath Hales. Hales beside Ross as they come up to the tabletop. We've got Hales out in front. Time for a couple of tricks around in the Bayside Boom. We've still got Hales out in front. Ross on his back wheel. So they come down Crowell Mountain up on the approach to the Luna lumps. We've still got Hales out in front. Oh, it does it beautifully. We've got Hales out in front, followed by Brett Ross down in the dip jump now. We've got Hales down in the dip jump. Ross in the second spot. Williams is having a spell. 9:49's given up altogether. So we've got Hales in for the first. Ross in for the second, and Williams in for the third place. In the starter's hands here, Wayne racing on. Excellent start made by David Armstrong as he comes down on his approach to the first obstacle. We've got Armstrong out in front, followed by these other two riders. So we've got Armstrong's out in front at this stage, followed by the other young fellow there. It must be Gerard O'Brien. I can see Gerard O'Brien, Adam Lippens in there. So we've got David Armstrong out in front. He's spread-eagled the field at this stage, and his approach to the Luna lumps. We've got David Armstrong and those socks. They've got to be seen to be believed. We've got David Armstrong out in front, Adam Lippens and Gerard O'Brien. So we've got young David Armstrong's going to come in for the first place. It'll be a battle for the second and third between 5.97 Gerard O'Brien, Adam Lippens. 5.97's Gerard O'Brien. Gerard O'Brien's got a slight advantage. O'Brien will come in for the second. Lippens in for the third place. I think we're the 11 class. We're starting to work the program out. We've got Mark McGeary, Trevor Harvey, Brad Dixon and Lee Salisbury. Good start being made by Salisbury down the outside. Not to be outdone is Brad Dixon on the inside. So they've got Dixon and Salisbury at this stage. Salisbury, Dixon. Up on their approach to the tabletop, we've still got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in second spot. Mark McGeary's in there also, and Trevor Harvey. So they come down now over the top of Crowell's Mountain. Down on their approach to the Lunar Lumps, it's still Salisbury out in front of Dixon across the Lunar Lumps. Show a little bit of style as he went across the Lunar Lumps, down through the bottom corner into our dip jump at Salisbury out in front. Dixon, they've got, I think it's Harvey making a big move down the outside. Harvey's coming down the outside at 1,000,000 miles an hour. We're going to have Harvey's going to take out the win. Salisbury in for the second and Dixon in for the third. His hands there away and racing now. If we've got number 518 there, David Flaherty, he's whipping down the centre lane there. We've got 532, which is Leon Smith. So we've got Flaherty and Smith. We've got another rider there shot up underneath him, the guy in the Patterson. As he comes up across the tabletop, we've still got Flaherty out in front. I think Smith's dropped back a little bit at this stage. We'll get that other rider's number. It is Matthew Kenyon. So we've got Matthew Kenyon in second spot and we've got Flaherty out in first. So as they come down the into the bottom sweep, we've still got Flaherty out in front over Kenyon, Flaherty and Kenyon down through the dip jump. We've got Flaherty's going to be far too strong, Kenyon in for the second spot, and it'll be Leon Smith in for the third. When he gets ready. We'd like to thank Phil for coming and just making the day what it is. Right, so as usual, we're waiting for the over 26 class. We're in the starters' hands. Right, I can see Kevin Kelly and Chris Onion, so we've got a couple of super geriatrics in there also. So as we come down now, we've got Bevan Hansen, Smith and Paulie in front, Kevin Kelly in a safe fourth. Round the bottom corner, we've got Paulie out in front, followed by Phil Smith. Alan Paulie's in there also. So we've got Hansen, Smith and Paulie as they come down into Bayside corner across the tabletops. It's Hansen out in front, Smith in second place, Paulie in third. And we've got Kevin Kelly charging down the back straight across the top of the Lunar Lumps. It's still all Hansen at this stage. As they come down now at the bottom sweeper, still Hansen. Smith's checking out the tyres as we come down. Alan Paulie's making a whip round the outside. So it's going to be Hansen first, Paulie second, Phil Smith third, Kevin Kelly and Chris Onion. Away and racing as they come down. Craig Lucas got a beautiful start as he comes down there. I can see 1, 3, 4, 4 going like the wind. We've got Kelly going like the wind down the outside. We've got Lucas in front, Kelly on his back wheel now. So as he comes, we've got Lucas in front, Kelly in second spot. Down through Bayside corner, it's all Lucas at this stage. Kelly in there behind him. He's not to give in as he comes up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. Down on the approach to Lunar Lumps, we've still got Lucas out in front, Kelly in second spot, and I'll get third place as they come round the bottom corner. So we've got Lucas out in front, 351 I think it is, yes. We've got Anthony Marr up there in the third spot, so it's going to go win to Lucas. Troy Kelly will be in for the second, and we'll have Anthony Marr in for the third, followed by Jason Barnard. Right, they're away and racing in the 14 classes. We come down, we've got 431 there, young Derek Morton, he's out in front at this stage. So we've got Morton, Flaherty and Maloney. Morton out in front, Flaherty in second spot, Flaherty up underneath Morton, hasn't got the legs to do it, so we've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in second place, down in the Bayside berm, up over the top of Crowell's Mountain, we've still got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, Maloney back there in the third, so we're going across the Lunar Lumps, we've got Morton's across the lump safely as he comes round now down into the bottom corner, down into the dip jump, we've got Morton out in front, the legs are going 1,000,000 miles an hour as he comes up towards the finish line. It's going to be Morton in for the first, Flaherty and Maloney. Right, now away and racing, got a good start being made by Mannion on the outside there. As we come down, I can see Gibson on the inside, Gibson, Mannion and Plotzer. It's going to be Mannion out in front now. We've got Mannion out in front, Gibson in the second spot, Mannion, Gibson across the top of the tabletop, down into Bayside berm. It's all Mannion at this stage. As he comes down now up over the top of the tabletop, we've still got Mannion out in front. Hello, Gibson's done the whole show, and we've got Mannion still out in front. We've got Plotzer in the second spot, so Mannion's decided to have a spell. Plotzer's still putting in the big ones to catch him up, but I think Brett Mannion's going to be too strong. He'll hold out David Plotzer, and Craig Gibson will be limping in for the third place. Spur and Vaughan Richards, I think, at this stage. Well, we've got two. We've got Pauline Williams and we've got Brendan Spur. So we've got Pauline Williams and Spur. Pauline and Spur's a little bit stronger down the front straight. Williams up underneath him at this stage. They come up across the tabletop. We've still got Spur out in front. Williams in second place. Around through Bayside, down across the top of Crowell's Mountain on the approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Brendan Spur. I think these are our South Australian competitors too, a lot of these kids. I'll try and get through that as we get onto the program. And we've got Spur out in front. followed by Williams.
On your little Willie.
And a special commentary from Mr. Phil Smith.
Expert comments.
And his expert comments. And Ray Grimer. So we've got Withers out in front, followed by 159, or Jason Richards is in front now. So we've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second spot, Grimer charging like the madman, possessed down the back of the field. Down in the Bayside corner on the approach to Coles Mountain, Richards, Withers and Grimer. Down now across the top of the lunar lumps, we're going to record. Oh, that's very nicely done. Everybody executed the lunar lumps. As we come down now, round the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump, we've still got Richards out in front, Withers and Grimer. So it's going to be Richards in for the first, Grimer in for the second, the third rather, and Glenn Withers in for the third. And Grant Williams. They come down the starting gate as a wall of one. I can see Crisp out in front. Crisp across the top of the first obstacle down in the corner. Yes, they're all around the corner. So we've got Crisp and Hales out in the first two placings. Across the tabletop, down through Bayside Burn, we've got Crisp out in front. Hales on his back wheel, toss the top of Coles Mountain down to the lunar lumps. We've still got Crisp out in front. I love the way he does that. We've got Crisp out in front. Hales in the second spot, down through the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump. Crisp, Hales, and then Hennessy, I think it is. So we've got Crisp, Hales, and Hennessy. Crisp in for the first, Hales in for the second, Hennessy in for the third placing. We come down the front straight. Rawson, slight advantage into the first corner. Rawson, Bross, and Dylan. David Comport still in there, still in touch with the field as they come down now. We've got Rawson down into Bayside Burn on his approach to Coles Mountain. Ross on his back wheel across the top of Coles Mountain, down the outside. Rawson did it beautifully as he comes down across the wheel. Oh, that was magnificent stuff. Down through the bottom sweeper, down in the dip jump. God, he's even got time to tuck his hat in. So come down now, we've got Hennessy, yes, the shades of the over 26 class race this. Glenn Rawson in for first, Brett Ross in for second, and Pat Dillon in for third. Well, I don't like that one.
Wasn't you, Paulie?
Into the dip jump, it's still Nicole Bailey. Shelley Prince down the outside this time. Prince down the outside. Bailey and Prince. It's going Bailey may just prove strong enough to hold out Prince, and Kay Morton will be in for the third place. Right, and they're coming down now. We've got Spiteri in second spot, but again, Spiteri moving down the outside. So we've got number 109. I think he's another one of our South Australians in the sixth class race. So we've got Adam Bailey, it is 108, Spiteri in second spot, and I can see Dean Mitchell in there. So we've got Bailey, Spiteri and Mitchell down through Bayside Berm on approach to Coles Mountain. Bailey's across the top of the mountain safely. Spiteri and Mitchell are in there also. Down on the lunar lumps, we've still got Bailey out in front. Right, down through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump. It's all Bailey at this stage. Bailey down through the dip jump, Spiteri in the second spot, Mitchell in the third place. Down through the dip now, we've got Bailey out in front, Spiteri in the second, Mitchell in for the third. Big finish by Mitchell down the outside. We've got Spiteri, Mitchell. I think Mitchell may have got up. So it'll be Bailey in for the win. Mitchell, right, we're away and racing in the 14 and 15 cruiser. Colin Flaherty, Craig Gibson, Craig Maloney. So they come down now, got Gibson out in front. I hope he stays on the machine for the entire race this time. We've got Gibson, Flaherty. Maloney's made a move up underneath Flaherty. So we've got Gibson, Maloney and Flaherty now as they come down the Bayside. Flaherty's positioned himself extremely well through Bayside up over the top of Coles Mountain. We've still got Gibson out in front. A race between second and third at this stage. Flaherty slight advantage. Maloney pulling down the outside. Down into the bottom corner now. Round down in the dip jump. Gibson's over the nut. Flaherty's got it on the boil down the back straight. We've got Gibson out in front. Flaherty, Maloney. Gibson, Flaherty and Maloney in that order. The starter's hands. Right, they're away and racing now as they come down the starting gate. I can see 11:47's young Tony Harvey. He's having a field day. We've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in the second spot. So we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in the second spot. I can see Colin Mitten battling it out for the third placing. So we've got Harvey out in front, followed by Dixon. Oh no. Right, we've got Harvey down over top across the top of Coles Mountain, down on his approach to the lunar lumps. We've got Harvey, Dixon putting in the big ones to come up beside Harvey at this stage. Harvey has a glance over his shoulder as they disappear behind the first berm down in the dip jump. Dixon's coming down the outside. We've got Harvey and Dixon as they sprint to the finish line across the two bumps there. Harvey's going to just prove to be a little bit stronger, and he'll take in the first place over Dixon. Right, in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now. Wayne Racing got a good start being made by Salisbury. I can see Pinckney's in there. Armstrong's in the second spot. So you got Salisbury, Armstrong, Pinckney at this stage. Around the corner, God, David's still got those socks. So we've got Pinckney's coming up on the inside of Armstrong. We've got Salisbury out in front. I hope Armstrong doesn't get in front. He'll dazzle everybody with those socks. As we come down, we've still got Salisbury out in front. Armstrong in the second spot. Pinckney into the third place. Down across the top of the lunar lumps, it's still Salisbury at this stage. Armstrong and Pinckney. The other three riders tailing off a little bit at the moment now, so as we come down, we've still got Salisbury out in front, Armstrong and Pinckney. Pinckney's putting in a charge down the back straight now as we come down. Salisbury's going to take it out. Pinckney will be in, Armstrong for the second, Pinckney for the third, and Lee Nelson and Jason Kroll. In the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now. Wayne Racing, what a good start being made by Bailey again. Bailey on the inside, Nelson on the outside. They're coming down onto the first jump. It's 1 and 1. Into the band, Nelson slight advantage to the first corner. Bailey making the big move down the inside. Hasn't quite got the power as they come across the tabletop. We've still got a slight advantage to Nelson down in the Bayside berm. Across the top of Kroll's Mountains, Nelson followed by Bailey. Kroll into there, in for the third place. Down through the back straight across the lunar lines, we've still got Nelson out in front. Bailey in the second spot, down into the dip jump. It's a good race as we come down. Bailey's coming on, he's putting on the pressure down the back straight. Got Nelson out in front, Bailey in the second spot, down across the things. Nelson will take out the first, Bailey in for the second, Kroll in for the third place, and Stuart Daglish in for the fourth. Richards, Stu Davies, and Grant Williams. Right, as they come down the starting hill now, I can see Jamie Hales, Crisp having a field day. We've got Crisp out in front, Hales in the second spot, Williams in there in the third place. So we've got Crisp down in front, across the top of the tabletop, it's all Crisp. Hales making a move down the outside now, so we've got Crisp out in front, Hales on his back wheel up over across the top of Kroll's Mountain. We've got Hales up on the inside, Crisp on the outside as they go across the lunar lumps. A magnificent piece of riding as he comes down there into the bottom corner. We've got Hales has taken over the lead, Crisp in the second spot, down through the dip jump, sprint to the finish line. It's going to be Hales in for the first, Crisp in for the second, and Grant Williams will get in for the third. And racing got a good start being made by Glenn Rawson. Got Glenn Rawson, Hennessy and Ross as they come down now. Rawson out in front, Ross in the second spot, Hennessy up underneath. Hennessy trying to hold out Ross as they come down now. Rawson across the tabletop. Down into the Bayside corner, we've still got Rawson out in front, Ross in the second spot, Hennessy in the third. As they come down and approach the lunar lumps, we've still got Rawson out in front, cross the, it's good the way they do that, round through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump now. We've still got Rawson out in front, followed by Brett Ross, Glenn Hennessy in the third place. Sprint to the finish line, it's going to be Glenn Rawson, Brett Ross, Hennessy, Dylan and Banfield. The starter's hands. Starting gate drops their way and racing as they come down. We've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in his in second spot. So we've got Salisbury and Dixon. This is the way the last heat started. We've got Dixon underneath Salisbury, Salisbury on the outside, Dixon on the inside. Across the top of the tabletop, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second place, through Bayside corner across the top of Kroll's Mountain. It's still Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second spot. Down there approach the lunar lumps, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in the second spot, around through the bottom corner, down into the dip jump. So they come down now, we've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon behind him, Salisbury and Dixon. We've got Harvey coming in down the outside. It's the way the boy won the last one. We've got Salisbury out in front, Harvey coming down like a freight train. Salisbury, Harvey and Dixon. Standing under the shadow of Phil Smith. Right, as they come down the starting hill now, I can see 518 there. David Flaherty's got quite a start as he comes down. Flaherty's in front there, Leon Smith in the second spot. So we come down and then we've got Kenyon back there in the third place. I can see Maloney in there too. So we've got Flaherty out in front, followed by Smith, Flaherty, Smith and Kenyon at this stage. Across the top of Kroll's Mountain, down on the lunar lumps, we've still got Flaherty out in front, Smith in the second spot, Kenyon into the third place. Around down now through the bottom sweep, down into the dip jump. It's all Flaherty at this stage. Oh, Flaherty, it's a one-horse event. We've got Flaherty out in front, and Kenyon's making a charge down the outside. We've got Smith and Kenyon battling out for second and third. Smith and Kenyon, I think Smith may have got up. Kenyon will be in for the third place. Combined, we've got Kevin Kelly, Phil Smith, Bevan Hanser, Alan Pawley and Chris Anion. I see down the road Smith's drawn two out from the inside. This will be a big psychological advantage. Right. Everybody's ready except Alan Pawley. Right. Right, now Wayne racing in the over 26 and 40 class. We come down, Phil Smith, Bevan Hanser. Smith got an immaculate start that time. We got Phil Smith out in front, Bevan Hanser underneath Smith. No approach, Smith straight off. He's still got his nose in front. We got Smith slight advantage. Round Bayside, down across the top of Coles Mountain. We've got Smith out in front, Hanser in the second spot, Paulie back there in the third, and I can see Kevin Kelly charging down the back of the field to try and take over that third placing. Round now down through the dip jump, it's going to be Smith, followed by Hanser. Hanser down the outside, Paulie's putting in a late charge down the outside. We've got Smith out in front, Hanser, Paulie, Smith, Hanser and Paulie. Kevin Kelly in for the fourth, and Chris, Jason Barnard, Troy Kelly, Craig Lucas and Anthony Mayer. In the starters' hands. Right, now away in racing as they come down the starting hill. I can see Craig Lucas out in front, Troy Kelly there, 3-5-1. Anthony Mayer's in there also. So we've got Lucas, Kelly and Mayer at this stage. Across the top of the tabletop, we've got Lucas out in front, Kelly, Mayer making a move up on the inside of Kelly. Lucas out in front, Kelly and Mayer as they come down across the top of Coles Mountain, down the back straight and approach the Lunar Lumps. It's still all Lucas out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Mayer in the third place. Around down through the sweeper down to the dip jump, we've still got Lucas out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Mayer into the third place as they come down the finish straight now onto the finish line. It's going to be Lucas in for the first, Kelly second, Mayer third. Starters' hands for the 14 class. I see a good start being made by Derek Morton in there. Flaherty's in there also, so we've got Morton and Flaherty and Craig Maloney. As they come up, Morton's got a charge. He's put a few lengths on the field across the tabletop. We've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, and Craig Maloney in the third place. So as we come down there, we've got Morton on his approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second spot, Maloney into the third as they come down through the bottom sweeper. It's still all Morton. Flaherty's putting on some pressure as they come down now into the dip jump. Down across the two doubles as they come down to the finish line. It's going to be Morton in for the first, Flaherty in for the second, Maloney in for the third place. And in Gibson, all we're going to do is get Craig to stay on his bike. Right, in the starter's hands. Starting gate drops, they're away in racing. Good start being made by Minion. As he comes down, Minion over Gibson at this stage. Down in the bottom corner, we've got Minion, Gibson up the outside. Minion down there on the approach to the tabletop. Gibson up on the inside as he comes up. Pulls in Minion a little bit, round through the Bayside on the approach to Coles Mountain. We've still got Minion out in front, Gibson in the second spot. Young David Plotz has tapered off a little bit back there in the third place. Around through the bottom sweeper, it's all Minion this time, Gibson and Plotz are putting in some big ones round the back straight now as he comes down to the finish line. We've got Minion in for the first, Gibson in for the second, and Plotz are in for the third place. We've got a few scratchings in this. Right, as they come down, we've got Pauline Williams and Brendan Spur, another one of our South Australians, I think. So we've got Spur out in front at this stage, Williams on the inside, Spur on the outside. Spur takes Pauline around the berm up on the approach to the tabletop. We've still got Spur out in front, Pauline Williams in second place. Around through Bayside down on their approach to Coles Mountain. Still Spur out in front, followed by Williams as they come down across the Lunar Lumps. We've got Spur a mile out in front, mucked up the last one a little bit. We come down now through the bottom corner, down the dip jump. It's still all Spur, followed by Williams as they come down. Spur's going to prove to be too strong for his female opponent. Right, as we're away and racing in the open 20-inch class, I can see Glenn Withers, Jason Richards and Ray Grimer. Jason Richards and Glenn Withers. Ray Grimer's making all sorts of creaks and grains as he comes up on his approach to the tabletop. So we've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second spot. Withers underneath Richards at this stage as they come down now. We've got Richards followed by Withers. Withers on the inside of Richards across the top of the Lunar Lumps. It looks like it's going to be an interesting tussle through the bottom corner. Got Richards out in front, Withers on the inside, Richards on the outside. Ray Grimer's going for a sleep. So as we come down now on our approach to the finish line, it's going to be Richards in for the first, Grimer in for the second. Hennessy and Brett Ross. Right, now away in racing, immaculate start being made by Glenn Hennessy. This time we've got Chris got a slight advantage, Ross and Hennessy as they come down now. We've got Hennessy, Ross, Chris out in front. Nearly over there, Comport's up into the third place on their approach to the tabletop. So we've got Chris out in front, Hennessy and Comport at this stage across the top of Coles Mountain, down on their sprint down the back straight. As we come down, it's all Crisp at this stage, followed by Hennessy. So we've got Crisp and Hennessy at this stage, down through the back straight there. We've got Crisp out in front, Hennessy, we've got number 4 there, it's not Stu Davies, it's Kennedy. Moved in for the second, I think. Danfield, Grant Williams, David Smart and Glenn Rawson. In the starter's hand now, away and racing now. We've got a good start being made by Hales on the inside, Rawson on the outside as they come down. We've got Hales and Rawson down through the first corner. Hales, Rawson and Dylan also. Williams in there as well. Hales across the top of the tabletop down through Bayside. We've got Hales out in front, Rawson in the second place across the top of the Coles Mountain on their approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've got Hales out in front, Rawson in second spot. They've got time to do tricks as they come down through the bottom sweeper down in the dip jump. We've got Hales out in front, Royston in second, Williams making a charge for the third place. So it's going to be a win to Jamie Hales, Glenn Royston in for the second, Williams in for the third placing. Right, there'll be a short break between the third round of motos of approximately 5 minutes. We've got Nicole Bailey in front, Prince in the second, and Morton into the third place. Around down now on their approach to the tabletop, we've still got Bailey out in front. I think she's a South Australian rider. We've got Bailey out in front, followed by Shelley Prince. Down across the top of Crolls Mountain on her approach to the Lunar Lumps, it's still all Nicole Bailey, Shelley Prince in the second spot, Kay Morton in the third place. So around down the bottom sweeper, down into the dip jump. So he goes through the dip jump. That's still, Prince is making a move down the outside. We've got Shelley Prince down the outside, Nicole Bailey. Nicole Bailey's going to prove strong enough for the 5 and under class. It'll be a race between Dean Mitchell, Aaron Spiteri, it's the 5 and 6 class, Glenn Tisdale, and Adam Bailey Lane. Adam Bailey will be in lane 6, that's what we've got. And Reese O'Brien. Right, in the starter's hands. Right, we're waiting on a competitor to come up the hill. Altona will wait for all competitors because God knows we need everyone we can get. I also need a commentator. Right, we've got the 6 class, 5 and 6 class in the starter's hands. Right, the starting gate drops now. Wayne Racing got a good start being made by Spiteri on the inside. We've got number 109 there on the outside, 108, Adam Bailey. Spiteri and Bailey into the first corner. We've got Spiteri in front, Bailey in second spot. Spiteri making your charge up to the tabletop. We've still got Spiteri in front, Bailey in second spot. Down through in the Bayside corner, we've still got Spiteri out in front, Bailey in second spot. Spiteri and Bailey. Bailey's in a tyre, he's over the handlebars. We've got Spiteri out in front, Bailey. St John's streaking over to the accident site there, so we've got Frank Kays who's got that little accident under control, and we've got Spiteri out in front as he comes down through the sweeper down to the dip jump. We've got Spiteri out in front, Adam Mitchell in the second spot, Spiteri in front, Mitchell in the second spot, and that'll leave Reese O'Brien coming down now for the third placing. Our other little competitors over there, he's up on his feet now, ably attended by Dean Cruiser. It'll be between Colin Flaherty, Craig Maloney and Craig Gibson. Colin Flaherty, Craig Maloney and Craig Gibson. Hang on, one rider's off his bike as they come onto the tension mounts and rides away. In the starter's hands. Starting gate drops now. Wayne Racing got a good start by Gibson on the outside, Flaherty on the inside, Maloney in the pair. As they come down now, we've still got Gibson. Gibson takes the bunch through the first berm on their approach to the tabletop. We've got Gibson out in front, Flaherty into the second, Maloney into the third. Maloney pulling up on the inside, trying to go underneath. Flaherty is all over him like a rash as they come across the top of Crolls Mountain down onto the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Gibson out in front, Maloney making a bit on Flaherty underneath there. It'll be interesting to see when they come round. Maloney's got himself up into second place. Got Gibson out in front, Maloney down the outside, Gibson, Maloney, Flaherty, big sprint to the finish line. Gibson will take it out, Maloney in for the second, Flaherty in for the third placing. In the 9 and 10 class. Right, they're away and racing now as they come down. We've got a good start being made by Harvey and Dixon. Dixon's a little bit closer to Harvey this time. Harvey's just got an advantage into the first corner. We've got Harvey, Dixon, Kroll and Mitten. As we come down there, approach the tabletop, we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in second place. These two riders have spread-eagled the field as they go into Bayside. Across the top of the Crolls Mountain, we've got Harvey out in front, Dixon in second. Approach the Lunar Lumps, all Harvey, Dixon breaking approach on Harvey down through the bottom sweeper. It's going to be Harvey out through the bottom sweeper into the dip jump. We've got Harvey in front, Dixon's appeared from behind the wall as they come down into the dip. Harvey into the dip, Dixon into the dip, cross the jumps, Harvey in for the first, Dixon in for the second, which will be consist of David Armstrong, Jed Pinkney, Adam Lippens, Gerard O'Brien, Anthony Medalich and Aaron Salisbury. In the starter's hands, starting gate drops their way in racing. Got a good start being made by Aaron Salisbury. Jed Pinkney's in there, David Armstrong, Pinkney, Armstrong, Salisbury into the first corner. David Armstrong, Pinkney underneath Armstrong, Salisbury out in front, Armstrong, Pinkney. As they come down now into the Bayside corner, we've got Salisbury out in front, Armstrong, Pinkney down across the top of Crolls Mountain. We've got Salisbury out in front, Armstrong in the second place, Pinkney in the third place. So we've got Salisbury, David and Jed as they come around now down into their approach to the dip jump. We've got a race for second and third between Pinckney and Armstrong. Pinckney down the outside, Salisbury in first place, Armstrong, Pinckney, Armstrong. Armstrong, Pinckney, we'll leave that one to the judge. We've got Salisbury took out the win. I think David got the second. Ordanian Bailey, Jason Kroll and Stuart Daglish. In the starter's hands there, Wayne Racing got a good start being made by Daniel Bailey as he comes down now. Nelson slight advantage, Bailey on the outside, Nelson on the inside around the first corner. Underneath we've got a good move being made here. Bailey's got himself up into the lead across the tabletop. Got Bailey on the outside, Nelson on the inside. Nelson, Bailey as they come down. Bailey's going under the cut again as they come up the top to cross Kroll's Mountain. I'll get down in a minute. And their approach to the lunar lumps, we've got Nelson. Oh, Bailey went a little bit high on that second lump there, which we've got Nelson out in front, Bailey in second place, Kroll in the third. Down in the dip jump across the double is going to be a sprint to the line. We've got Nelson, Bailey and Kroll. And the Pro-Am Cruiser now, we've got Brett Ross, Jamie Hales, Pat Dillon and Jason Richards. We've got Hales out in front, Ross in the second spot, Dillon in the third, Richards up in the third, Richards and Dillon over a bit of Jamie Hales out there doing a few tricks, trying to impress the crowd as he comes down. We've got across the top of Kroll's Mount, we've got Hales out in front across the lunar lumps, magnificently, with Ross in the second spot. Dillon's moved up into the third place. Jamie Hales is going for a sleep down the finish straight. Brett Ross, Jason Richards is still in the ball game as they come down. It's going to be Hales across the line. Ross, Richards and Dillon, I'd say. Line judge. Second round of the Pro-Am Cruiser, Glenn Rawson, Grant Williams, Michael Banfield, Dean Crisp and Glenn Hennessy. Got Rawson and Crisp. Crisp in front, Rawson second place, Hennessy there. Williams shot up in the third, Hennessy's back in the third, Crisp's out in front. Crisp, Rawson, Hennessy. Across the top of Kroll's Mountain on their approach down the back straight towards the lunar lumps. We've got Crisp out in front. Across the first one, over the next three, down into the bottom corner as they come down now into the dip jump. Got Crisp out in front, Rawson in second spot, Hennessy, Williams making a charge down the outside. It's going to be Crisp, Rawson and Williams. First three placings in that particular event. In class, Brad Dixon, Lee Salisbury, Mark McGeary and Trevor Harvey. Take your jacket off. Right. Right. We've got the 11 class, Brad Dixon, Lee Salisbury, Mark McGeary and Trevor Harvey. Keep your eye on Trevor Harvey. He's a fantastic finisher. So they come down the starting hill now. We've got Salisbury's out in front. Salisbury and Dixon it is. We've got Salisbury out in front. Dixon in the second spot. Harvey's moving up into the third place. So we've got Salisbury, Dixon. Harvey's making a charge at the beginning of the race. As they come down, we've got Salisbury out in front. Dixon and Harvey. Down through the bottom corner there, bayside corner and approach to Kroll's Mount. We've got Salisbury out in front. Dixon in the second spot, Harvey in the third. Harvey will start to wind this bike up in a little while as we come down now through the bottom sweeper. We've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in second spot. Here comes Harvey around the bottom now as they come down. It'll be a sprint at the finish line. The field's bunching up. We've got Salisbury, Dixon and Harvey as they come down. Salisbury's going to be strong enough. I'm not sure. I think Harvey may have got up for the second. It'll be Matthew Kenyon, Brett Maloney, Leon Smith and David Flaherty. Right, now Wayne Racing in the 12 class. We've got number 518 there, David Flaherty out in front. I can see Matthew Kenyon in there. So we've got Flaherty. Kenyon's got himself up in the second spot, put Smith back to third. So we've got Flaherty out in front, Kenyon in second. He's pulling the stops out now, this boy. Look, he's found an extra 3 lengths in our 5-minute break. So we've got Flaherty out in front, Kenyon in second spot. So as they come round down now through the bottom sweeper, it's going to be Flaherty still out in front, Kenyon in second spot, Smith's falling in the hole. Down through the bottom jump there, up across town on their sprint to the finish line. It's going to be first across the finish line will go to David Flaherty, second will be Matthew Kenyon. Right, the over 26 class, Chris Enyon, an over 40 competitor. Alan Pauly, an over 40 competitor. Phil Smith, Kevin Kelly, Bevan Hanser. Kevin Kelly is also an over 40 competitor. Right there, Wayne Racing got a good start being made by Hanser on the outside, Smith on the inside. Smith, Pauly and Hanser as they're coming down. It's a wall of one. Pauly's slight advantage. Pauly round the corner, Hanser up in the second. No, Smith's going to hold him out. Pauly's across the tabletop. We've got Pauly out in front. Smith in second, Hanser in third. Hanser's trying everything. We've got Pauly out in front. Smith in the second, Hanser in the third as they come down. Paulie's pulled out all the stops in this one across the Luna Lumps. God, I thought he was going to do it the way Jamie Hales did it there for a minute. We've got Alan Paulie out in front, down in the dip jump. Oh, Alan Paulie spread eagled the field. As we come down, Paulie's in for the win, Smith in for the second. Kevin Kelly's big chance for third as they come down. Kelly's in for the third. So we've got Pass, Craig Lucas, Anthony Mayer, Jason Barnard and Troy Kelly. Wayne Racing, good start being made by Craig Lucas. I can see Troy Kelly's in there. We've got 351, Anthony Mayer's in there. Anthony Mayer, Lucas, Mayer and Kelly. Lucas is down, Mayer's down, Kelly's down. This is a turn up for the books. It'll be first up, best dressed as we get going now. We've got young Jason Barnard. He's making the most of the opportunities. He comes streaking down the back straight now. God, he's found 3 or 4 lengths now that he's out in front. We've got Jason Barnard streaking around the back corner there, down into the dip jump. We've got Jason Barnard in front. Troy Kelly's back up on his model. Craig Lucas is up. All competitors are up. We're going to come in now. It's going to be 4:35, which will... Jason Barnard will be in for the first place. Troy Kelly in for the second. I think Craig Lucas will hold off for third place. And our other fallen competitor was right in the 14 class. We're away in racing now. We've got Derek Morton down the outside. Craig Maloney was left on the starting hill. So we've got Flaherty and Morton. Morton, Flaherty, Morton in front. Flaherty in the second place. Maloney's coming now down the outside on their approach to the tabletop. We've got Morton out in front in the bayside on his approach to Crowell's Mountain. So we've got Morton out in front. Flaherty in the second place. Maloney putting on the pressure down across the top of Moulton. Down across the Luna Lumps. Morton out in front. Flaherty, Maloney. Morton, Flaherty, Maloney. So Smith, as they come down through the dip jump now, got Morton out in front, Flaherty in the second place, Maloney into the third. Morton will prove too strong, he'll take out the event, sprint to the finish line. Flaherty got up for the second placing. In 15 class. Brett Minion out in front, Gibson in second, Plotzer. So you got Minion, Gibson and Plotzer. Gibson around the outside, Minion on the inside, Plotzer up underneath. As they come across the tabletop, we've got Minion out in front, he's got time to do a couple of aerials as they come round through bayside up over the tabletop. We've got Minion out in front, Gibson, Plotzer, Minion, Gibson, Plotzer. Plotzer charging down the inside of Gibson as they come round the sweeper down into the dip jump. As they come down, it's all Minion at this stage. Gibson, Plotzer down the outside. Minion will be in for the first place. Gibson, Plotzer, Minion by a nose. Half it. 16 class, that's what I said. And they're away in racing now. We've got Pauline Williams and Brendan Spur from Tasmania. So we've got Pauline Williams and Brendan Spur as they come across the tabletop. We've got our Tasmanian competitor out in front now, Pauline Williams. So we've got Brendan Spur out in front, Williams in second place across the Luna Lumps. We've got, yeah, don't. As they come round now, we've got Brendan Spur, one of our overseas competitors, will come in for his third win, and Pauline Williams in for a third second. Right, now Wayne racing in the open 20-inch class. We've got Richards and Grimer and Withers. So we've got Richards, Withers, Grimer as they come down now on their approach to the tabletop. We've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second spot, Grimer into the third place. Round through bayside, up over the top of Crowell's Mountain. We've got Richards out in front, Withers in the second, Grimer in the third. Down across the Luna Lumps, got Richards, Withers and Grimer down through the bottom sweeper in their approach to the dip jump. Down through the dip jump, Richards, Withers down the outside, Richards on the inside, Withers nearly over the handlebars. So we've got Richards out in front, Withers and Grimer. Yeah, so it's a typical... Right, in Pro-Am 20-inch. They're away in racing now. We've got a good start being made by all three. So we've got Crisp out in front, Ross in the second place, Ross in the third place at this stage. So we've got Crisp, Rawson and Ross across the tabletop. Down in the bayside, it's still Crisp, Rawson and Ross. Across the top of Crowell's Mountain, down there, approach down the back straight. We've got Crisp out in front, Rawson in the second spot. Down through the bottom jump, down now around the sweeper, down in the dip jump. We've still got Crisp out in front, Rawson, Ross, Crisp, Rawson and Ross. These guys are saving a little bit of energy for the final, so we're going to have Crisp in for the win, I think Ross for the second and Glenn Rawson for the third. Comport, Pat Dillon and Glenn Hennessy. So they come to the first jump. We've got Hales in front, Hennessy and Williams. So we've got Hales, Williams and Hennessy at this stage. Comport's in there, Dillon's in there also. So we cross the tabletop down in the bayside. Got Hales out in front, Comport's got up in the third place. So we've got Hales, Hennessy slipped the pedal, it's allowed Comport and Dillon to come through. We've got Hales out in front, Comport, Dillon. So they come now down through the sweeper down in the dip jump. We've got Hales out in front, Comport in the second place, Hennessy into the third. So they come down to the finish line. It's going to be a win to Jamie Hales or David Comport, and I think Hennessy may have got up for the third place. Pro-Am Cruiser from the gate position number 1, I can see 6V Grant Williams. Then we've got 2V Glenn Rawson. Number 2A Brett Ross. We've got 1 Glenn Hennessy, 1 Queensland Dean Crisp, and Jamie Hales, a handful of the best BMX riders in Australia, about to contest the Tyrrell's Chemist and Westgate TV final of the Pro-Am Cruiser class. In the starters' hands. And they're away and racing now. We've got a good start being made by Crisp. I can see Hennessy in there, Ross, Rawson, Crisp out in front, a clash of tyres there. We've got Hennessy's gone sideways. We've got Crisp out in front. He's nearly overdone it. Hales has shot up. Ross has slipped off the pedals. So we've got Hales out in front, Crisp in the second place, Rawson in the third. Over the top of Crolls Mountain, we've got Hales out in front there across the Lunar Lumps. We've got Hales out in front through the sweeper down in the dip jump. We've got Hales has got the start and he's got the final. He's got the money. So we've got Hales down for first place, Crisp in for second, Glenn Rawson in for the third placing. That was the Pro-Am Cruiser final. One of the girls, 12 and 13. This race has been... You're not taping it yet, are you? Right, they're away and racing in the Marook Transport and the Queen Street Chemist girls 12 to 13 moto, and Nicole Bailey's going to take the race into the first corner, followed by Shelley Prince. So we've got Nicole Bailey and Shelley Prince in the first 2 placings. Kay Morton's up there in a safe third. Around through Bayside Berm on their approach to Crolls Mountain, it's still Nicole Bailey out in front, followed by Shelley Prince. On her approach up over the Lunar Lumps, we've got Nicole Bailey down into the sweeper. It's all Nicole Bailey at this stage. Shelley Prince in the second place. Shelley Prince coming around the outside now. Kay Morton moving up for contention. We've got Shelley Prince and Nicole Bailey. Shelley Prince, Nicole Bailey. I think Nicole Bailey got up. Shelley Prince for the second and Kay Morton in for the third. In the starters' hands. The starting gate drops. They're away and racing. We've got a clean start in the Queen Street Milk Bar final, and we've got young 108 Adam Bailey and Aaron Spiteri contesting the 2 places. We've got Adam Bailey out in front, Aaron Spiteri in the second place, and Adam Mitchell, or Dean Mitchell rather, up there in the third place. So we've got Adam Bailey's taking the race around Bayside Berm. Aaron Spiteri's putting on the pressure now as they come up over the top of Crolls Mountain down to the Lunar Lumps. You've got young Aaron's winding it out. We've got Adam Bailey out there in front. Aaron Spiteri and Dean Mitchell in the third place. As they come round the bottom sweeper down in the dip jump, we've got Aaron Spiteri's putting in the big ones down the straight now. So we've got Adam Bailey out in front, Aaron Spiteri up on the inside. Adam Bailey, Aaron Spiteri, Adam Bailey. I think Aaron may have got up for the win. So we've got Aaron Spiteri, Adam Bailey and Dean Mitchell for the 14 to 15 cruiser. It'll be Craig Gibson, Craig Maloney and Colin Flaherty. And this has been brought to us by Super Right. And they're away and racing in the Super Right 14 to 15 cruiser class. I can see we've got Gibson's got a slight advantage, Flaherty and Maloney. So we've got Gibson, Maloney, Flaherty. Around the first berm on their approach to the tabletop, it's still Gibson up over the tabletop down in the Bayside. You've got Gibson's going to drop in the Bayside berm first, followed by Maloney with Flaherty in there in the third place. Up over the top of Crolls Mountain on his approach to the Lunar Lumps, we've got Craig Gibson out in front. Craig Maloney in second place, Colin Flaherty back there in third. Down into the dip jump now, it's still Craig Gibson out in front, followed by Craig Maloney with Colin Flaherty in for the third place. We've got Craig Gibson, Craig Maloney and Colin Flaherty in the Super Right 14 to 15 class cruiser fourth moto. Michael Kroll, and this is brought to us by the Victoria Street Milk Bar. Right, they're away and racing in the Victoria Street Milk Bar 7 class fourth moto. We've got Tony Harvey and Dixon out in front. We've got Harvey and Troy Dixon. Brendan Mitten's moved up there in the third place. So we've got Tony Harvey, Troy Dixon and Brendan Mitten in the first 3 placings. Across the tabletop down into Bayside Berm, we've still got Tony Harvey out in front, followed by Troy Dixon. We've got Harvey, Dixon and Mitten. Across the top of Crolls Mountain down to the Lunar Lumps, we've still got Harvey out in front. Dixon's coming in second place there, round the bottom sweeper. Down in the dip jump, we've got Tony Harvey out in front, Troy Dixon in second place, and we've still got our third place competitor Stephen Mitten. We've got Michael Krolls putting in some effort around the back sweeper there now. The race has been won by Tony Harvey. Troy Dixon in for the second place, and Michael Kroll's got up to get himself into third place. And Anthony Madelich, Gerard O'Brien, Adam Lippens, David Armstrong, Aaron Salisbury and Jed Pinkney. This will be the fourth moto, and it's brought to us by Firefly Coaches. In the starter's hands. And away and racing in the Firefly Coach 8 Class 4th moto as they come down the straight. We've got Aaron Salisbury in first place, Jed Pinkney in second. We come round Armstrong, Pinkney. We've got Salisbury out in front, Pinkney in second. Armstrong in moving up on the inside of Pinkney at this stage. So we've got Salisbury out in front, Armstrong in the second, Pinkney around the outside. So as they come up the top of Crolls Mountain, down their approach to the Lunar Lumps, it's still Salisbury out in front, Armstrong in second place, Pinkney in the third, and then we're followed by Adam Lippens, I think it is, in the fourth place. So as we come down to the dip jump, it's going to be Salisbury out in front, Armstrong in the second place, Pinkney into the third, and we've got 567 rather. Anthony Madelich will be in for the fourth placing of the Firefly Coach 8 Class 4th moto. Daniel Bailey. And this event is brought to us by Gilbertson the Butchers. They're away and racing in the Gilbertson Butchers 9 and 10 class moto. We've got an immaculate start being made by 106. 8V is also in there as well. So we've got Nelson out in front, followed by Daniel Bailey. I think he's one of our South Australian competitors. So we've got Nelson and Bailey in the first two placings. Kroll in the third spot. Around Bayside on their approach to Crolls Mountain, up over the top of Crolls Mountain, down on their approach to the Lunar Lumps. Nelson's still got a slight advantage over Bailey at this stage. Across the Lunar Lumps and the round the bottom sweep, we've got Nelson and Bailey. The first two placings, Kroll in the third place, putting in the pressure now as they come down the finish straight to the finish line. It's going to be Nelson will take out the final. We'll have Bailey in for the second and Kroll in for the third place of the Gilbertson Butchers 4th moto. And Lee Salisbury, and this is brought to us by Mansland Men's and Boys Wear in Pierce Street, Altona. Right, they're away and racing in the Men's Land 11 class 4th moto. Lee Salisbury's got a good start there. I can see Trevor Harvey in there also, and Mark McGeary. And as they come on their approach to the tabletop, we've got Brad Dixon in the second spot. So we've got Lee Salisbury, Brad Dixon and Harvey at this stage. So it's Salisbury, Dixon and Harvey. Harvey's putting some pressure down to the Lunar Lumps now. We've got Salisbury out in front, Dixon in second spot, Harvey in the third place. Around the bottom sweeper now, down into the dip jump. It's going to be Salisbury, Dixon and Harvey as they come down the finish straight now. We've got Salisbury out in front, a challenge for second and third between Harvey and Dixon. Dixon gets up for second, Harvey for third. And they're the three major placings in the Men's Land 4th moto. And I've had a pad handed to me that fell off the bike in the last race. 12 class 4th moto, and that's Brett Maloney, David Flaherty, Matthew Kenyon and Leon Smith, and this is brought to us by the Roses Sports Store. Right, they're away and racing into the Roses 12 class 4th moto. As they come down, we've got 518, David Flaherty out in front, Smith's up in the second spot, and then we've got another South Australia in third place. So we've got Flaherty out in front, Smith and Kenyon. As they come down now, Kenyon's moved up into second place on the outside to challenge Flaherty for the lead. So we've got Flaherty out in front, Kenyon beside him, neck and neck down to the Lunar Lumps at this stage. Smith's coming back into the race. We've got Flaherty out in front, Kenyon round the inside of him down through the sweep. We've got Flaherty out in front, Kenyon on the inside. We've got Maloney, I think it is, charging down the outside for the third place. So we've got a wind's going to go to Flaherty, Kenyon in for the second, Maloney in for the third. That'll be the first three placings into the Roses Sports Store 4th moto. Kevin Kelly, Chris Anion and Phil Smith. This 4th moto has been brought to us by Alma Meats of Altona. Right, in the starter's hands. All competitors ready. Right, they're away and racing in the Alma Meets over 26 final. I can see a good start's been made by Bevan Hanser, Alan Pawley and Phil Smith. They come into the first corner as one. We've got Pawley in front, Hanser in second spot. Kelly's moved up, Hanser's off. Smith, Kelly's going up there. Pawley's lost his pedals. We've got Kelly out in front, Smith on the inside, Kelly on the outside around Bayside. So they come up over the top of Crolls Mountain down. It's Smith out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Pawley in the third place. Across the Lunar Lumps, we've got Phil Smith out in front, down through the sweep, and now in his approach to the jip jump, it's still Phil Smith out in front, Kevin Kelly in the second spot. We've got Smith, Kelly and Paulie as they come down to sprint to the finish line. Smith's in for the first, Kelly in for the second, Paul in for the third. They are the first three placings in the Alma Meets over 26 Cruiser fourth moto. Troy Kelly, and this is brought to us by the Goodyear Tyre Company. Right, now Wayne racing in the Goodyear 13 class fourth moto. I can see Craig Lewis has got a beautiful start. Troy Kelly's in there also. So we've got Lucas and Kelly into the first corner. Lucas around the first corner, Kelly in the second spot. Up across the top of the tabletop, Kelly's being pressured on the outside by I think it might be Anthony Mayer. So we've got Lucas out in front, Kelly in the second spot, Mayer in third, Barnard back in fourth. Around the bottom sweeper, it's still all Lucas at this stage. Lucas, Kelly and Mayer. Down through the dip jump and their approach to the two doubles. There we go across there onto the finish line. It's going to be Lucas in first, Kelly second, Mayer in for the third placing in the Goodyear fourth moto of the 13 class. Brought to us by Jay Sidoni, our local fruiterer. Right, they're away and racing in the Joe Sidoni 14 class fourth moto. Got a good start being made by Flaherty. Morton on the outside, Flaherty on the inside as we come round. Maloney's in there also. So we've got Morton, Flaherty, Maloney. Maloney make a charge up onto the inside. So we've got Morton and Maloney. So it's Morton out in front. Flaherty's back up in the second. Morton's still challenging for that second position. So Maloney's still challenging for second. So we've got Morton across the Lunar Lumps. Flaherty in the second. Maloney's dropped off now and he's back into third place. So around the sweeper down in the dip jump, it's going to be Morton. Morton's through the dip jump and he's approached the finish line. A bit of a sprint to the finish line by Flaherty. We've got Morton, Flaherty. I think Flaherty may have got up for the win. Morton in for the second. And Craig Maloney for the third placing. And Joe Sidoni, the fruiterer, sponsored the 14 class. Been brought to us by Merritt's Hardware. Right, they're away and racing in the Merritt's Hardware 15 class fourth moto. Gibson and Menyon, neck and neck as they come into the first corner. Gibson on the inside, Menyon around the outside as they come down now. Potts is in there also, so they come up across the tabletop. We've got Menyon out in front, Gibson in the second spot, Plotzer in the third placing. Down the back straight now across Crowell's Mountain on their approach to the Lunar Lumps. We've still got Menyon out in front, Gibson in the second spot, Plotzer in the third place. Around the bottom corner now, down into the dip jump, it's going to be Menyon in front as he comes down through the dip jump there. We've got Menyon out in front. Plotzer coming up on the inside to challenge. No, we've got Plotzer's in for the third, Gibson in for the second, I think, in the Merritt's Hardware 15 class fourth moto. Williams and Brendan Spur, and this is brought to us by Maxwell's. Brendan Spur's all the way from Tasmania, so we've got Pauline Williams and Brendan Spur racing down the front straight in the Maxwell's 16 class fourth moto. Around the first corner, we've got Pauline in second spot. We've got Brendan up there in the lead. So down in the Bayside corner, it's Brendan Spur in first place. Across the tabletop, we've still got Brendan out in front, Pauline in second place. Across the Lunar Lumps, all riders across them successfully as they come around the bottom sweep and now down into the dip jump. We've got Brendan Spur from Tasmania in the first place, and Pauline Williams will come in for the second place in the Maxwell's 16 class fourth moto. It consists of Ray Grimer, Glenn Withers and Jason Richards, and this is brought to us by Nippon Denso. Right, they're away and racing in the Nippon Denso open class fourth moto. So they come down to Withers has got a slight advantage over Richards at this stage. So we've got Withers, Richards and Grimer. Across the top of the tabletop, still Withers in front of Richards. Now down through Bayside, Withers, Richards and Grimer. So across the top of Crowell's Mountain, down into the Lunar Lumps, we've got Withers out in front, Richards in the second spot, Grimer back into third place. So they come round the bottom sweep and now down into the dip jump. We've got Withers out in front, followed by Richards and Grimer. So Withers, Richards and Grimer in that order in the Nippon Denso fourth moto. OM 20-inch final. We'll have Dean Crisp, Jamie Hales, Glenn Rawson, Brett Ross, Glenn Hennessy and David Comport. This is a final, and it's brought to us with the help of Tom Landis Transport and Orlando Stelly. They're in the starters' hands. Right, now away and racing in the Pro-Am 20-inch final. I can see Crisp on the slight advantage. Crisp got a lead at this stage. So we've got Crisp out in front, Ross is in there also. Hales around the outside. Chris, Rawson and Hennessy are tangled. Comport's up in the 4th place. Crisp out in front. Hales in the 2nd spot. Ross back there in 3rd place. So as they come on their approach to the across the lunar lumps around the bottom sweeper, we've got Crisp out in front. Hales in 2nd spot. Crisp, Hales and Ross at this stage. Around through the sprint to the finish line, it's going to be Crisp in for the 1st place, Hales in for the 2nd, Ross in for the 3rd. So the first 3 placings in the Pro-Am 20-inch final. Right, in the starter's hands for the 2-lap Pro-Am Trophy Dash final. Right, now away in racing, we've got a fairly slow start. They're all gathered up like Brown's cows. We've got Brett Ross, Jamie Hales, Ray Grimer. Ray Grimer's going to lead the field into the first corner. Got Grimer out in front, Ross and Rawson at this stage. Grimer out in front, Ross, Rawson as they come around through Bayside on their approach to Crowell's Mountain. We've got Grimer out in front. Ross is making a move now. We've got Ross up there in the 1st place. Across the top of the lunar lumps, we've got Ross, Grimer and Rawson. Comport's in there for the 4th place. Around now down in the dip jump, we've got Ross out in front, Rawson in the 2nd place, Grimer and Comport. Down now on their approach to the circuit proper. Ross out in front, Rawson on the inside, Ross and Rawson, Grimer, Comport and Hales. Up over the tabletop, down into the 1st corner, we've still got Rawson out in front, Ross in the 2nd spot, Comport up in the 3rd, Grimer's dropped back to 4th, and Tangled Toes Smith bringing up the rear of the field. Around through Bayside, it's Rawson's made a break on the bunch now, Comport's got up in the 2nd, Ross in the 3rd, Hales putting on the pressure now. Rawson's made his spurt for home. Rawson's a mile out in front at this stage. Rawson will come down through the dip jump. Comport in the 2nd spot. Hales and Ross. So we got Rawson out in front. Comport in for 2nd. Hales for the 3rd. Ross for the 4th. And Patrick Dillon in for the 5th. And as we come down now into the stockers class, Phil Smith will lead them across the line. And that concludes the race meeting at Altona BMX track.
Take a swig of this stuff or what? You put in your hand.
Wish they'd given it to us before the final.
Look out. Come and second cruising.
Sorry, we're in the dark lane.
So just looking around here as who's who, Hey, look over there. What's that over there?
No, I don't know.
What's up with your eyes?
Yeah.
You and your car, I don't need it.
Ross. That. I saw Bevan go around. That was it. We should be real. No future. These two are. All right.
First place, Craig Lucas. First place, Derek Wolf. 15-year boys. Third place, David Potzer.
The whole world stopped the falling.
First place, Brendan Spurs. The Open 20. Third place, Ray Grimer.
Excuse me, please, huh?
You won second prize.
Oh my God.
His picture's on.
Phil Smith, third prize.
Hey, Phil, get out.
Get out, he doesn't want it.
We'll get the pink bucket. Get it from the change.
Where's Scott?